everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Laps Down podcast. My name is Andrea.
And I'm MJ.
And we are so excited to be coming back at you with a packed episode. We were looking over the agenda for this, and we were like, fuck it, 3-hour episode? Why not? Who knows how long this will actually be when we're done. But we got so much to cover. And honestly, I feel like we're so back. Like, I genuinely feel like off-season content-wise, I was like, what are we going to talk about? Like, the color of their suits or whatever? And now it's like we have too much to talk about. I'm too excited. MJ was also kind enough to put together an IndyCar beginner's guide. And if you are interested in learning more about IndyCar and you think this year is the year you're finally going to get into it, you're going to want to hang around until the end of the episode when we go over the questions you guys submitted. But before we get to that, be sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or rate us 5-star on whatever podcast streaming service you might be tuning in from. You can also follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Lapsound Podcast. We have a special episode coming out on Wednesday. It's kind of a series we're going to be calling Lapped Traffic. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about lapped traffic, MJ? She says no.
I wasn't ready. We're going to be interviewing some people, some fans of the various motorsports, some other content creators. It's just kind of a way for us to introduce some new people to you and to kind of learn more about what they're interested in motorsport. Yeah,
we were kind of tossing around the idea of like, we have this kind of inner circle or inner oval, you might say, of people that we love to follow their content. We like tune in and we're excited to see what they talk about when it comes to motorsports. And we thought, well, you wanted to have an excuse to talk to them on the pod and also share that with you guys. If you don't already follow these people, you can find some really cool creators. And also, just a heads up, we plan on probably going live on TikTok sometime this week to celebrate the kickoff of the IndyCar season. And with that all being said and that all being out of the way, do we want to get into the news, MJ?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we're going to start with F1. There was a little event, just a little one, called F175. And I was wondering, what are your initial thoughts?
I was never... Let me think. Wait. My initial thoughts.
Hey, guys.
I was never, opposed to it. I was never really excited for it. I was just kind of like, oh, hell yeah, this is something I get to experience. It wasn't horrible, I guess. I'm not mad at it. I get the vibe. I think my initial thoughts were just, it was weird seeing someone make so many jokes about F1 when F1's, known to take themselves so seriously. So that was kind of jarring. But overall, I thought it went well. What did you think?
I really enjoyed Jack Whitehall as a host. I have a soft spot in my heart because I just always liked Jack Whitehall's specials and stuff like that I've seen on Netflix. I thought he was really funny. I think he must be some sort of a fan. Either that or he did his research on these jokes because he knew the perfect little prodding points. I will say there was sometimes where I would get kind of confused when we were slipping between it being a joke and it wanting to be taken seriously as an event. One second Jack Whitehall's making jokes and then the next he's trying to actually promo the F1 movie. And I was like, okay, that's where he was told he had to be serious and pretend this movie is good, which is crazy because we all know it's not. So that kind of I was kind of how do you want me to perceive this? Do you want me to be laughing along or do you want me to think that this is dead ass, serious? I think the car part, some of them were better than others. I do think it's interesting that the teams were able to still put their own flair on how they wanted to present their cars. My favorite was Haas because it seemed like a team that is clearly threatened that they're not going to be the American team next year. And they were we're going to fucking lay down the law. We're the American team. They went so hard. And it was also kind of an apology tape. It was just a bunch of wrecks. And it's
Sorry,
this is
bad.
American grit. I was like, that is not American grit. That is just you guys fucking bending it into a wall with Roman Grosjean. That is not American grit. But hey, I still liked it. And I thought it was funny that British people had to listen to Kane Brown.
Dude, the musical artists that they chose just baffled me. MG, and I do really think it's just because they had songs that either talked about cars or MGK said he said F1, but it wasn't Formula 1. It was F1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that the music selections were crazy, but overall, I enjoyed watching the product.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it got me like hyped for the season or anything. It was cool to see them all together. I think was probably my favorite part. It's like as much as I do see them, like at the track all the time, I was like, I'm not sure that they talk for like 3 months of the year. So it's kind of cool to see them all dressed up in their little outfits, sitting at tables and kind of hating their lives. I was like, oh, they're just like us. Me too.
Yeah, like they like clearly were like, okay, I had to clock in today.
Yeah.
It was the first clock in of the year. Like it was a work event, and I think that that's kind of funny. Speaking of, the only musical guest that I was like, this is actually good. Like the only musical guest where I was like, dude, this is like a delightful performance was, I think her name's Thames, like the Aston Martin part.
Yes.
I had never heard a song by her, and I was stunned. I was literally tearing up. I was like
dazzled. Absolutely dazzled.
How did they win? Like, because I think that some of the music, the way it was described by another podcast, I think, so I'm just stealing their idea and I don't even remember who it is that they think the teams hired musical guests for their launch, and then F175 just billed them as musical guests for the event, but they did not pay for those people or book them themselves. It was the teams that booked and paid for these performers. Except for maybe MGK, because he's the only one that wasn't like tied with a launch. But like Kane Brown performed for the Haas launch and then was in the Haas video. And then Thames was like on stage performing with Aston Martin. And then the DJ, like the Alpine DJ, that was very controversial for many of people, was like part of their launch.
Well, he's also the one who made the F1 theme song.
Yeah, I think people did. I didn't know that. And so people were like, oh, wow, we're really allowing this to go on for quite some time.
That was like one note I made where I was like, some of these are like 90 seconds too long. He didn't even make like the fun version of the F1 theme song, like the Mexico GP one. He just did like the boring normal one. Dude, bring those guys out.
Oh my God, are we going to get mariachi content at the NASCAR race? Oh, that is my favorite part of any race in Mexico is the mariachi content.
So good.
They did it for Formula E. They do it for like the F1 theme song. The F1 theme song every year for Mexico City. It gets me every time.
So good.
So good. But yeah, Thames, you have a new fan. I went on your Spotify. It was delightful. I shed a tear. I was at work, like literally being like, damn, this girl's getting to me.
That's good.
But what do you think about there was three controversies that came out of this. One, Alpine DJ went on too long. Second one, this is the downfall of F1.
Crazy that this event is the downfall of F1. Like, I saw that was kind of trending. I could never find the original video. I think it's because I have that creator block.
Yeah, I know exactly why we couldn't find the original video.
I think downfall is crazy. I think a shift. Like, we're for sure seeing a shift in F1. I don't know if it's going to be successful. I just think, like, the vibes, like, I really, truly think the comedian being there and, like, trying to make it, like, a humor show instead of, like, an award show. I think that vibe, they're trying to seem more approachable to the audience, which I think is interesting. I don't think it's going to be a downfall. I think that's crazy to say.
I think it's like they clearly are doing this because it's the 75th anniversary. This is not, I think, something they're going to do every year. I think it was like, they're doing it because they wanted to do something big for the 75th anniversary. It was a quarter quirl of F1, okay? They wanted to do something big, okay? Second of all, like, this is an expensive-ass sport. Expensive in a way that other sports aren't. Yet F1 has gone on pretty long without this spectacle that other sports have adopted for like a decade now. And considering how expensive it is, it makes total sense that they're like, we should put on a big ass event just for like sponsors and stuff to really show off, to really like up the spectacle value of the sport, because that's how we're going to continue to pay for its existence. And I saw somebody that was really great about being like, do you guys remember F1 almost died? F1 almost died before, like, Drive to Survive. Like, it was dying. And all of these spectacle things that people criticize is kind of the only thing that's keeping it afloat. I mean, you look at, like, IndyCar and NASCAR, like, they are struggling. They're desperate for what F1 has. I think that even, you don't like the show, don't watch the show. don't watch the show. Nobody put you at like fucking gunpoint and was like, you have to watch F175. So just don't watch it if you don't like it. But it's not that bad. It's not the downfall.
No. I mean, every sport kind of has their events like this. And they're like, the thing that's good about these is like clippable moments. Like, I don't ever watch the football award show, but like I saw a bunch of clips from it. So like, it's just another effort. And I'm interested to see if they would do this again, because I do think it could. Like, if they did it every year, like at the beginning of the year, I don't think it would be that bad.
But now, the teams would have to do more with the livery. Because half the teams had the same exact livery as they did last year. They
wouldn't have to do anything with the livery. I mean, well, I think like the pre-shows that they did showcase the team more than the liveries do. So I think if they were like, no, we really, really like this Haas livery. We really don't want to move the red stripes. We really like it. They could just like, I don't know, get another country musician, get like Luke Combs or something to be like, this is America. Like, there's ways that they can do it without changing the liveries. I don't think the liveries were the main thing. I don't know. And I think it's a good way to showcase like the team's personalities. Like, I thought we saw a really cool personality. Yeah. Not cool. I thought we saw a really unique personality from like the Williams team, how they were being kind of goofy and stuff. I think it's a good first impression for new fans.
V-Carb was like the one that I was like so surprised they went like a humorous direction. And they went like with like the nobody even knows what we are, what we're called. Yeah. I was like, hey, that's self-aware. And you wouldn't expect that, because I feel like they've been trying so hard the last couple of years to be taken like seriously. Ooh, we're serious. We're not just the sister team of Red Bull. We're super serious and not at all just a development team for Christian Horner to fuck around with. We're serious. And then they were like, actually, I'm just kidding. We're not serious at all.
Yeah, they're able to control their own narrative. I also wouldn't have watched probably about 9 of these teams' livery launches had they not all been in the same place, if I'm being completely honest. So maybe it is a good thing, marketing-wise. I don't know. What do I know about marketing?
Before the event, when all these people were bitching and moaning about it before it even fucking happened, people were like, not all of the teams have equal funding to like do a big launch. And for some teams, like Stake F1 or like Williams or like Haas, this gives them an opportunity to be on a level playing field with the teams like Mercedes and Ferrari that like would go all out on these launches on their own with their own dime.
You're also tapping into all of those audiences, like the smaller teams who are like, hey, you know, we've got 12 Haas fans. It's like, yeah, but now you're tapping into all of like Red Bull's fans and all of the people who are kind of teetering between like Mercedes and McLaren or whatever. It gives, I don't know. Now that we're talking about it, maybe I did kind of like it.
Yeah. So downfall of the sport, Laps Down says, no, it's actually good fun. Please stop being so serious.
You're going to be fine, I think.
You will survive the downfall of F1. Okay, and then the booing controversy. See, I was like, when I saw people talking about the booing controversy, I thought it was FIA getting pissed that people booed at them. And I was like, no, that was funny. But then it's like people apparently booing at Max and Christian that the FIA was mad about, which I think they are actually mad that people booed at them. But they're like, well, nobody wants to hear from us on that.
And Max's dad, he was like, yeah, Max is actually never going to go to one of those events anymore because they booed him. I was like, Max is fine. Max does not give a
I think he probably was like, inject that shit in my veins. Like, he probably was like, that was actually so hot when you guys all booed me.
He was like, oh, so you're thinking about me. Oh, so you know who I am.
He was like, oh, is this the British bias?
But I've always said one thing that F1 is missing is like booing and like shit talking the refs. That's if you want to bring a community together, you have to give them a person to hate. Let them boo. Let them figure out who the refs are.
I think that like my favorite pastime is shit talking the refs, and that's why we started this podcast, is because I was like, give me a platform. I want to fucking shit talk Mohammed bin Sulayem every weekend for the rest of my life, and this has been a really great outlet for me. So thank you guys so much for that. But I don't feel the need to boo at any of the drivers. I don't think any of them are interesting enough to boo.
No, yeah, I agree. Christian, hell yeah.
Oh,
I booed from here.
He's like a weird ass sexual deviant who like is literally a bad person and should probably like be fired from his job and maybe be investigated for crimes. But like that's different. Like I guess we could boo him for that. Fuck it. In Minecraft, by the way. He didn't actually. Yeah, in Minecraft, all of those
in
things
Minecraft.
I just said.
This is all alleged. Things that I've read on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's it?
I don't know. I like
some of it was on Reddit, so it's a little bit more plausible.
Sure. More sources, more screenshots.
Yeah. Everybody knows the plausibility goes up when it hits Reddit. When it's just on Twitter, can't trust it. Hits Reddit, I'm starting to believe it more.
It's different. Reddit hits different. I don't know. I'm here for the booing.
Me too. What I'm not here for, though, is, okay, ESPN not renewing its rights to F1. I don't give a shit about that. I've never cared about the Sky Sports coverage of F1. I've always cared about F1 TV. But now the rumor is whoever gets the rights, if ESPN doesn't have them, might be a Netflix, an Amazon Prime, a mixture of all these streaming services, and they're definitely not going to like the existence of F1 TV. And that makes me mad. Any thoughts, MJ?
I'm interested to see where it goes because I just don't know if it's gonna. You know how Netflix is like, maybe we should do some like live stuff, and so we're all like, yeah, you should do some live stuff. And then when you click on it, it's like, oh, this live stuff is unavailable because we don't know how to do live stuff. I wonder
Too many people want to watch this live thing.
Yeah,
it's like, well, it's on the front page of your app, so I thought maybe I would want to watch it.
You've been pushing it to me for weeks. So I wonder, I just don't see it ending well in like any of the possible scenarios. Maybe Prime would be the best place for it to live. Prime, Amazon Prime. Not the Logan Paul thing.
But I think that is kind of like what happened in France. I think that Canal Plus has like the rights to F1 TV or F1. And then they canceled the usage of the F1 TV app in their country. And I think a couple European countries have this. And I'm going to be honest, F1 TV coverage is amazing. I understand that they want an audience that is new to the sport. And obviously that audience is not going to have an F1 TV subscription. So they're not going to give a fuck about me and my F1 TV. And they're going to be like, shut the fuck up and watch it where we tell you to watch it because I'm already a fan. So they know I will. But somebody brought up a good point of like, if it's not for free on ESPN, is it going to get to a new audience? Like if you're requiring people to buy streaming services, then you've already lost out on the audience. If it's something like football or something, people will buy the fucking streaming because they love football. And football already exists in their daily life and they need football. They don't need F1. They don't give a fuck that much. They're not going to go bounce around between all these streaming services. So isn't it, that might actually be the downfall of F1. Found it. This is the one. I
agree. And one of the nice parts about it being on like ESPN or ESPN Plus is like it would get pushed to people. Like it's an app. It's an app for sports. If I'm like going through Amazon Prime or going through Netflix or something, I'm not looking for sports. Like that's not the purpose of it. So I don't know. They're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. But like also, like what's new?
Yeah, I'm just confused. I'm confused with the plan.
What if it goes to Fox? Huge news. What if it goes to Fox and then we get the cartoons? We get the cartoons of the F1 drivers.
We disagree so strongly about these cartoons. I hate them.
I don't have a lot of hot takes. Like, I think I'm pretty, like, lukewarm when it comes to everything. I'm so passionate about how much I love these Fox cartoons. Like, that's a hill I'm ready to die on. I'm picking up my plot. I'm digging the hole. I'm ready to die there. I love the Fox cartoons. I think they're so funny.
I think the Fox cartoons are fine for the men that are, like, normal, conventionally attractive, whatever. I think that they do have, like, a side of them that is like those mean caricature drawings on like the street in like a busy square where they like pick your biggest insecurity and they like highlight the fuck out of that. And there's some people's cartoons where I'm like, are you not angry? I am for you. Like I'm so pissed about this.
they make up for it by giving them all like huge pecs and abs that you can see through their suits and like giant quads. They're like, yeah, we fucked up your face a little bit. Like you have an eyebrow and a half, sure. But look at your fucking pecs, dude. And it's even funnier when you see like they accidentally get them side by side. They're like showing like the cartoon Kyle Larson and then the real Kyle Larson. It's like, oh, like what was your, like when you were drawing it, like what were you looking at?
What was going on here? Oh god. I think that some of the drivers would actually like get pissed about the cartoons. Like I think that would be like Max Verstappen's final straw. I think he would retire.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He would be like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. And for that reason, F1 can't go to Fox, I fear.
Okay, so speaking of drivers taking action, that was a good transition. Are you impressed?
That was really
That
good.
was good. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about the drivers union. What is it called? GPDA? I think there's another letter in there.
No, I think you're...
You think I'm right?
Drivers... The Grand Prix Drivers Association? GPDA.
Fuck it. Can't even find it on Instagram at first go. So we'll just pretend like it's GPDA, even if
Dude,
it's
their
not.
SEO sucks. And they don't have a pro Canva account.
Oh my god, the graphics. Ass.com, the remix with peace and love. Oh, it's so upsetting. But what's not upsetting is that they announced that Carlos Sainz is going to be kind of like a co-director alongside George Russell. So George Russell has been the GPDA head for a little while. I think after Sebastian Vettel left a couple years ago, he became the head. And I always thought this is like so good because like he is so student government coded. Like I've always been like, he's class president, makes total sense to me. Carlos coming in is like, it feels like the jock who like needed credit, like doing extracurriculars to get into a good college. Mm-hmm. But like, I also think he is like, I do see him as like passionate about some of these related issues that the GPDA might be pissed about. And I wonder if they were like, we're going to need some extra help this year because we're going to be causing a ruckus. Like maybe they just decided like, this isn't what we have intended. It's not a one man's job anymore.
I hope that's what's going on. They're like, we need to double up our forces. It is kind of funny to think of. When I think of people who would like work really well together, I don't really think of George and Carlos, no. But obviously they know more than me.
Yeah. I wonder if they like were like, I wonder if Carlos has an issue in particular that he wanted the drivers union to be doing. And then they were like, okay, then you just be in charge of that. And now I'm like, I guess we'll find out with time what that might have been. I wonder if it, like, I feel like it is strange because the GPDA last year caused like a minute ruckus about the fines for swearing. They never received an answer formally as to what the fines went towards. And then more stringent rules about swearing came out. And the GPDA said nothing. This doesn't like add up. Like, I'm like, they must care about it. They went through the effort the first time of making a post about it. So why have they gotten more lenient on this like bullshit rule? And maybe it's because they're cooking up something grand. They had to wait for it to marinate. You know? The first fines have to be dealt before they can like flip out.
Do you think they're going to wait for the first fines to... I mean, the first fine has technically already been dealt.
Correct. For
to that rally car driver. Yeah, which was insane. Crazy to see them. I was like, oh no, they're serious. Like, they're doubling down. They're serious about this. But so I wonder if they'll wait. I guess maybe they would wait, but like the rules are still standing. I just want them to do a driver strike is what I want.
That's what like I want too.
Genuinely, the only thing I can think of that would make the FIA listen.
We are, I think, probably this year, Laps Down is going to be like a disgustingly like pro-union, like shut down the sport for the sake of these drivers.
Hell
because
yeah.
I like literally am like, this sport is contingent on these drivers showing up every fucking weekend, these teams showing up every fucking weekend. And we are under the impression that the FIA gives a fuck about being true stewards and referees of this sport, yet they're talking about dumb shit like cussing. And this, like, hits home to me a lot because you may notice half the words I say on this podcast are cuss words. I believe in cussing. I think it's so good.
It's important.
I think
frankly.
it's so important. And I know that these rich men, they have the money to pay the fines. But I do agree, like, what are the fines going towards? And if it's going towards MBS's fucking re-election fund, then I'm not going to be cool with it. And I think they should shut down the sport for at least a weekend.
I think they should shut down, I think, all the FIA sanctioned.
Right. They should team up with other FIA sanctioned racing.
Yeah.
No racing. Sorry, you're done.
No more.
What race weekend do we want them to shut down? Just based on like our preferences, because we don't want it to be like a good race, of course.
Sure. Let me think. What works best with my schedule? Can it be? Right. Can they shut down on a weekend where there's also NASCAR and IndyCar, so like we still have something to do, like us Americans?
Yeah. I think, and it can't be Monaco because it's the last time we're gonna have the triple.
Right. Yeah, we can't mess that up. Maybe
Imola. Does anybody care about Imola? I don't.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. We'll
Imola.
shut it down that way.
We'll shut it down. Yeah, there you go. Okay, we'll shut down Imola. If you guys could driver strike Imola weekend, that'd be so sick.
Please. Yeah.
So fun. Love it. Not Miami, though. I have tickets. So.
Sure.
Just like, not Miami. I know you guys don't like that one. And I could see how the strike you guys would maybe pick.
It would work really well there. You guys
don't like, yeah, but I have tickets. So. Unless the strike is for Logan.
Oh.
In his honor. Oh, God. Okay. And then, upcoming, you have put that there is F1 testing. We gonna watch the testing? Where do they put this? They put this bad boy on TV?
It's on F1 TV, yeah. So if you have F1 TV, you can watch it. I don't have
reason.
F1 TV, so I'll be watching other people watch it.
Oh, I can watch it for us.
Yeah, could you?
Yeah. I have F1 TV, as we've covered.
I just never renewed what's going to happen, I never renewed it, and what's going to happen is I'm going to watch one singular Sky Sports broadcast, and I'm going to be like, yeah, just take the $80. I can't do this, actually.
Hey,
let me
just take it out of my account. I've had it.
You have my card information, just...
I hate the ESPN coverage so bad. Every time I see Danica on my screen, I'm like, dude, the $80 is always going to be worth it. It's always going to be worth it. And then I see Ruth Buscom, and I go, you could charge me double. 80's not enough.
Highway robbery.
Okay, so I think that's everything for F1. Excited for the F1 season to be kicking off again. In other news, we have NASCAR. Woo, woo, woo. So fun. We were at what's the name of this race this weekend? Ambetter? Is that what it was?
Oh.
I don't know. Something.
I guess I don't know.
I don't know the formal name. It was Atlanta. Just deal with it. Okay, that's what we're calling it. Atlanta. And it was a lot of fun. But before the weekend even kicked off, we had some follow-up news from Daytona regarding Chase Briscoe. And boy, they wrecked his life. They went crazy with this penalty. This is like kind of like season altering penalty.
Yeah, they got him good. They got him good. Yeah, so he was on pole last weekend, which I think is really funny. But basically, he was docked 100 points and had his crew chief suspended for 4 races. I don't recall if they said that he was suspended starting this weekend because he still has time to appeal, so it might be next weekend and 3 races after that. But it was for a spoiler-based infraction. I know what you're thinking. What does that mean? I don't know.
Oh my God, that's exactly what I was about to say.
I don't know. I genuinely, I even tried to look it up and I was like, oh no, this is actually too much for me. But JGR tried to, they came out and said, yeah, we're gonna appeal. It was something to do with, one of the parts that they got. They got given. Yeah, and they were like, well, that's how you gave it to us. And then there was issues with it, so, it shouldn't be our fault. I don't know. We'll keep you updated on what happens. But he's currently sitting negative 67 points. And I'm not great at math. but I know that you never want to be in the negative when you're trying to be like the highest in the positive. So it might be an issue, at least for a minute. Right. It is the curse of his, I think, we talked about it on the podcast, so I feel like I can make this joke. The curse of the twins.
Yeah,
when got,
one of our first episodes.
Yeah, because the broadcasters they were at the Roval in the playoffs, and they were talking about Chase Briscoe, and they're like, oh, our condolences to Chase Briscoe. He's doing so bad. Also, he just welcomed in a set of twins.
They showed like a picture of the twins, and then like him not doing well.
Doing well.
Rats. Good thing he's gonna go home to those kids, I guess, and be happy about losing. And we
then
joked
the twins
that
were at the Daytona 500.
500.
It's really
twin curse. Oh my god.
Twin curse.
I love these twins. They're just like cousin Erectus.
They're so real for that.
So that is a big oof. And then we also had a little situation with William Byron. It all started with a comment on a Sabrina Carpenter post that has been proven to be fake.
That's what he says. He says it wasn't actually him. But I was like, what do you mean,
But was it
dude?
from his account?
I don't know if it was... I don't know. I don't know how he's claiming that it wasn't him.
William Byron, I don't believe you that it wasn't you.
Hey.
So he basically, just a picture of Sabrina Carpenter looking hot, just put a little, hi. Now, what do we think about that as like a strategy? Like, what? Because it's like he is verified, so she'll probably see it.
And you just pay the subscription to be verified. But it was like lowercase h with like 5 eyes. So it wasn't hi, it was hi.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay. Hi.
No, I thought it like flirty, right?
I took it as like, hi.
Oh, like he's like standing like in the doorway, like, hi.
Yeah. That's what I was
like that.
Yeah. Which I thought was a little out of character for him. I thought he would have something a little bit more. If you're going to come at her, it's shooting your shot publicly with Sabrina. I think we could have, like, I would have personally gone with, like, hi, I am 2-time Daytona 500 winner, William Byron.
You know what he should have done? He should have just commented the NASCAR hotline number and be like, do you want to hear about my trip to Japan over the off season?
Call me, babe. Here's my number. And it's the NASCAR hotline.
Wait, that's actually a really good idea for anyone who like is single and goes out to bars. If anyone ever asks for your number, you should give them the NASCAR hotline number.
Wait, that's so good. They call it just Joey Logano.
Joey Logano being like, did you know that I win a lot of races? I've won the championship on even years. Isn't that crazy? Oh, God, I love the NASCAR hotline.
Okay, so anyways, it doesn't stop there. For some reason, okay, so then he goes like, this wasn't me. I didn't tweet, or I didn't comment that. He did like a little like meme tweet. It being like, this wasn't me. Whatever, William, whatever you say. But then like the way he continued on made me think like that was definitely fucking you. Because then we see a video of him on TMZ for some reason talking about it, being like, yeah, like, I love Sabrina Carpenter's music. Like that kind of vibe. It just being like, yeah, if she wants to come out to a NASCAR race, like, love to have her, whatever. Turns out she's already been to a NASCAR race. Jeff Gluck tweeted that she like went to a NASCAR race in like a long ass time ago, like when she was like Disney Channel star.
Oh,
like,
Jeff, why do you know that?
Dude, he like literally had that shit on deck. Like it was like with a photo evidence and everything. I was like, have you been waiting to tweet that Sabrina Carpenter has been to a NASCAR race?
Actually, like, she's already been to a race.
Wait, that is so NASCAR fan like behavior though. For somebody to be like, I think Sabrina Carpenter should be at a race. And for them to like have to prove you wrong so fucking bad.
She's been to an NASCAR race. And it ended in overtime, and it was bullshit.
And my opinions now start about what I thought about that race. Let's get into it. They're like, thank you for bringing it up. Well, maybe they'll put that on the Tubi channel. That would be some good history to drop. Like, what race did she go to? And then show a replay of that race so that we can, like, kind of get the vibe.
Oh, I'd eat that up.
Yeah, me too, I fear. But, yeah, he seems, like, down for, like, okay, fine. I'll actually flirt with Sabrina Carpenter. Now, I texted you and I said, I think this would be great for the sport. I think I've seen what Taylor Swift has done for football, and I would like to cash in on that for NASCAR. Somebody's going to have to be our famous WAG, I fear. And if it's Sabrina, all the better, because I love Sabrina Carpenter. Should we, like, have backup? Does it need to be William Byron that she's with? I don't know.
See, yeah. That's the thing. Like, if we're going to bring her in, like, we want to give her, like someone
the best
great,
we got.
You know?
I think that Austin Cindric is single. I might be wrong about that, but, like...
Yeah, but he would have to get the mustache back, I think, for anything to work.
Dude, this Penske facial hair shit is holding us back. Can we implement the Yankees facial hair rule? Like, can we please allow them to grow the mustache?
Penske.
Let Ryan Blaney have the beard, please. We need this. Sabrina's never going to come to our fucking races.
Do you want Sabrina Carpenter or not, Roger?
She's not coming unless Austin has a mustache, so let him have it. But, I mean, I don't know. I think she could be good. I love the idea. It has to be somebody that's, like, not who you would think a NASCAR WAG could be. I don't think the effect would be as strong if it was, like, a country singer or something. I think there's something beautiful about it being Sabrina Carpenter. And that's, like, same with, like, Taylor Swift to football. It's, like, that seems less expected, which is why the ooh and the awe of it would be so strong.
I like that. It would also be funny, I think, if it was Tate McRae, just because everyone's like, no, she's like with Lando. Like, she's an F1 girly. And then if she's like, nah,
by
dude.
Sports car, she means whatever the fuck William Byron's driving.
She's like, no, I mean the
Hendrick
Liberty
Motorsport.
University.
The Liberty University Hendrick Motorsport, number 24, driven by William Byron, 2-time Daytona 500 winner. That's what Tate McRae meant by sports car.
Oh my god. Dude, the context of that song, but like picturing it in William Byron's. Oh my god.
Okay, yep, that's what we're going with instead. That's actually much better. Yeah, sorry, Sabrina, we found another.
Sorry.
Okay. And honestly, Tate McRae likes hockey guys, so I think she could like NASCAR drivers. I think there's something there.
I think so too. I think that makes
like
that's
a
a better
bridge there.
transition. Yeah, than going from like a Columbus Blue Jackets player to like
William Byron.
I like that. I'm happy
Whereas
for
like
her.
Sabrina, her latest boyfriend was that really hot guy from Saltburn.
The Barry guy.
It would be like a weirder transition.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But it was kind of a weird transition for Taylor to go from Maddie Healy to Travis Kelce. So maybe there is some ooh and ah there too.
Oh, it's like kind of a pivot, like a rebound.
Like the more unexpected
Pivot.
it is, the more powerful it is. Honestly, we just want a bunch of NASCAR girlies to listen to the pod. And if this is what it takes, Sabrina, you're going to have to take one for the fucking team.
She'll
Take
enjoy
one
it.
for laps down.
Dude, she's gonna love the Roval. Are you
Wait,
kidding?
isn't William Byron like a gamer boy?
I don't know what that means.
He got
Like he
started
plays
by
video
like
games?
he like got started in NASCAR by like sim racing. I'm assuming he must do like hella sim racing at home. Like, do you think Sabrina Carpenter is gonna allow like a sim rig in her fucking mansion? Like that might be too much for her. She might be like, I think I've had quite enough of whatever this shit is.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, happy for them.
Do you think
Happy
we've
couple.
sufficiently annoyed the NASCAR fans by talking about Sabrina Carpenter for
Are
roughly
you guys still
15
listening?
minutes?
I think
Hey, guys.
people skipped over it.
Don't worry, we're going to talk about Wheel, okay? So first of all, we watched the Truck Series race, and the Truck Series race was better than last week. But it did have some issues with like the track conditions, and they decided, okay, we can fix this. Good old-fashioned kitty litter. They, however, parked the open window side of all of the trucks in a single file line to be sprayed with said kitty litter, to the displeasure of every single person driving in the race. Just being absolutely coated with kitty litter for the rest of the race. What do you think about that, MJ? Could we have logistically avoided this? Is there something we could have done to not spray every driver in the face with kitty litter?
I'm just not sure where it was spraying because it like kind of overshot the track a bit.
They weren't
I
even
was like,
trying, I feel like, at a
maybe
point
they
to get it
need
on the
to-
track. They wanted it in the trucks.
maybe they need to like rebalance this because we're shooting too far.
It was weird because like the further they went down the line, the more powerful it got.
Yeah. Like, the closer it got to Kyle Busch, it just like picked up power.
Like shoot farther. You're not hitting the drivers enough.
Oh God, that was a mess. But the track conditions did improve, so who are we to say?
Yeah, and that was also just like a fun little thing. Like I think this is part of the reason people tune into something like the truck race. Is it's like I didn't even know we were gonna be having kitty litter gun trucks to begin with. I didn't even know that was something we were gonna have to deal with. But here we are. So that was fun. Kyle Busch won. MJ and I have been talking. I'm just, I think, fundamentally confused about something. And maybe the NASCAR fans can, like, fill me in on it. Why the fuck do Cup Series drivers go race in trucks and then be like, yay, I won? Because to me, that kind of feels like if an F1 driver just woke up one day and was like, fuck it, I'm going to go race in F2. And then be like, yay, I won. And it's like, well, yeah, this is a feeder series. And you're at the Cup level. Like that's, I think we expected you to be able to win the truck. I don't know. Why would they even do it? I don't even understand.
I don't really know either. I gotta be honest. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a reason. But it does, feel like the varsity basketball team is scrimmaging the middle school. I'm like, what are you doing here, Kyle? You don't even go here. You have a job. You have to work tomorrow. Like, let Frankie Muniz have one, okay?
Let him win this one, please. This is his thing. But then it's like, I kind of feel like we talked about it and it's like we give a pass for the Xfinity races, especially when it's like a road course and you see some of the Cup Series drivers do like the Xfinity race for like the Chicago race because it's like they're just like they need this like extra round to like get in the vibes for the race the next day because it's like this is a very new thing for a lot of the Cup Series drivers even to like do these road courses. I weirdly feel like I have no issue with that, but like the Truck Series is where I'm like, okay, can we be fucking serious? You're doing a Truck Series race on an oval. I know damn well you know how to drive Atlanta. So why are we doing this? And then it's like, they act like it's a huge dub. Like he's like, yeah, I haven't won a Cup Series race in a while, but thank God I won this truck race. That is so fun. I love winning.
Maybe it's all he has. They're like, we gotta get Kyle out there. He's gotta do something. He's gotta win something. You know?
He's got to feel good about himself.
Yeah, it's a little ego truck. Boost. He did have the game. Yeah, we should like Colton Herta run the Truck Series. That would be fine.
I feel like that makes sense. Don't tempt me with a good time. We got to move on. I could talk about that.
OEP him.
Yeah, OEP Colton to the Truck Series specifically. Not even the real race, like a Cup Series race, just the Truck Series. Anyways. But this kind of started a trend that we saw for the last 2 weekends. Like it reminded us of like this issue that was in Daytona that went into the Cup race and the Xfinity race and stuff as well. Frankie Muniz had like a heartfelt radio being like, don't fucking tell me, please. Like, just give me a push. They're like negotiating with like relentless repo men, basically. Like these tow truck drivers come out and they just start hooking these cars up, and the drivers and the crew chiefs and the spotters and everybody's like, no, just give them a push. Please don't. What is the policy?
The spotter was like he like literally had the person that like knew the policy like right next to him. He's like, I can't get a fucking answer. He's like, they're not listening. I don't know. From what I understand, if they can make it back to the pit, they're fine. I don't really.
They just want a little push to get going again, to drive to the pit.
Yeah,
right?
He didn't need to be towed. He didn't need to be towed.
Was it Kyle Busch that had this same problem last week at Daytona? He was like, I don't even understood why the fuck they towed me. Like, I asked them not to. And then he was like, I was telling them, don't tow me, don't tow me. And they can't, like, communicate effectively with these tow guys because they can't probably fucking hear each other or whatever. And then like these tow guys, they just show up and they're like, I just got my tow. Check is written and signed by my boss. I'm just towing you. I'm sorry.
I'm here to tow.
And yeah, it's like kind of race ending for these people, I think. And it shouldn't be. I'm wondering if this is like one of those things where we'll see like just a random Google Doc change from NASCAR where they're going to have to like clarify more like what the towing rules are, because the drivers seem pissed. Like half the drivers that get towed are like, I didn't even fucking want to be towed. I asked them not to tow me and they just towed me without my consent. Are the drivers in the car while it's getting towed?
That's a great question. I wanted to say no, but I think actually, yeah, because they tow them back to the garage.
Yeah, and they can't get out, right?
Only in the Cup Series.
They can't get out then because they're like done, right?
No, if you go back to the garage, you can fix it in the garage. In the Cup Series.
Can the driver get out?
Well, like, yeah, I mean, he can get out. But I do think
like you're done.
I don't know. I would assume he'd get out.
I don't think NASCAR knows either. I think they're all just winging it.
Looked that close. I think that's the joy of NASCAR, dude, is I don't know the rules, you don't know the rules, they don't know the rules.
The drivers are literally like, what are the rules? Please, somebody tell me.
Somebody answer me.
Yeah, guys, all of the radios are heartbreaking from all these drivers that are getting towed, because they are negotiating for their life with just these relentless tow people. It's really tragic. I think Frankie Muniz pulled a few tears out of me, and I was like, is he acting?
He sounded heartbroken. He's like, we have a good car. Please just give me a push. And then earlier in the race, he made a joke about, like, they were telling him, like, turn off a bunch of stuff in the car. And he's like, does that mean I have to turn off my Creed CD? And then he sang a bunch of Creed. And I was like, oh. And then they towed him.
And he was also talking about how he is going to do a Malcolm in the Middle reboot, but he was like, I made them change the entire shooting schedule around my Truck Series schedule.
Oh, no.
Which I think is just so funny. I love Frankie Muniz. I know it's like, people are going to be like, oh, you root for the one driver in Truck Series who's a celebrity, like, blah, blah. Yes.
A celebrity? Are we calling Frankie Muniz a celebrity?
I am. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, Agent Cody Banks, that's probably one of, like, my most watched movies. I love that guy.
Dude,
he deserves not to be towed.
He's getting 1 cent royalty checks to this day, probably from you watching that movie.
No, it's from an illegally burnt CD, so he ain't getting nothing from me. I didn't fund that Truck Series ride. I'm sorry, Frankie.
All right, well, we gotta make it up to him somehow, so we'll keep tuning into the Truck Series, cheering for him, I guess. Okay, so Atlanta starts. It was overall, my general thoughts are, it was a really fun race to watch. I actually was thoroughly enjoying it. There was a lot of cautions, but it wasn't like a disgusting, just carnage type wreckage that you saw in Daytona. Like, even the biggest of wrecks only took out like 2 or 3 cars each time. There was less like just tragedy and more like people were just racing hard and getting wrecks because of it. But here's some of the major storylines. The first one being Kyle Larson. Now, Kyle Larson started by getting the Stage 2 win, and that was his first stage win on a drafting track. And you said you think it was because he was tired of being bullied by his kid.
Yeah, I think his kid was his kid going on what, I don't even know what it was, but it was all over like the NASCAR socials being like, my dad's not going to win, he can't draft.
Yeah, they were like, he was like, I don't think he tries hard enough. And they're like, try hard enough at what? And he said, drafting. They were like, fair enough. He's
read
not
him to
in.
filth.
He's not clocked in. So I thought, okay, that's probably enough of Kyle Larson for today. I actually thought that was like gonna be his, like, he was like, okay, I'll get a stage win and then I'll just kind of fuck off for the rest of the race because he's not good at this sort of racing. I think he actually might have been like, I'm gonna shut up the haters today, because he just kept hanging around the front. And we'll cut to the chase, not the Chase Elliott because he got crashed out, and not the Chase Briscoe because
he also got crashed out.
Yeah, so we'll cut to the chase with the fact that Kyle Larson was so desperate to win. 4 laps to go, he ran Cindric into the wall. And then, okay, we'll give him credit. In the post-race interview, he did say, yeah, that was my B. He is the only one who accepted responsibility because the commentators, the other Hendrick Motorsports spotters, everybody seemed to just like act like they didn't even fucking see anything. And I felt like I was being gaslit. Can I be honest? I felt like I was being gaslit. The commentators were insane. They were like, that's just tight racing. I was like, he had the whole area of the track to be on, and he chose to be on the part where he ran Cindric into a wall. And then, like, William Byron was like, what happened? And his spotter was like, oh, the two, like, ran into the fence. I wonder what happened. Did you see the giant blue car with the 5 on it?
That's what happened.
That's what happened. And then the commentators were dead silent while they showed the replay.
They didn't even say, it was funny that, they didn't even say Kyle Larson's name. Like, they didn't even mention him. They were just like, that's tight racing. And I was like, yeah, it gets really tight when you get kind of pushed up into the wall. Like, yeah, that is tight racing. It was weird. It was weird to watch that unfold, but Kyle got out of the car and he was immediately like, I don't really know what happened, but it was probably my fault.
Yeah, I think he just got a little too crazy and was like, this is really exciting. I think I could win. I think I should start running people into the wall, probably.
Hey.
Because Austin Cindric was really fast. And Austin Cindric was behind him. And I think Kyle actually did say that he just came up on him faster than he thought he would. And that's kind of why he, like, ran him into the walls, because he didn't even really fully know how close he was to him. But it's another weekend where Austin Cindric did amazing and has really nothing to show for it. I think he might go insane soon if we don't let him win. Because
that's how the mustache comes back into the plot. Yeah.
He's so close and has done so well the last 2 weekends. And then he just gets absolutely, like, crushed in a crash that's not his fault. And then I just feel bad for him. I don't know. How many more races before Austin Cindric grows the mustache back and stops playing games?
I think it's definitely happening after Coda. 100%.
He's like, I've had it.
A mustache and a vendetta. The Austin Cindric story.
Yeah. That would be delightful. I'd buy a ticket to that movie.
It's a short film put on by, like, a bunch of college kids.
A mustache and a vendetta. Okay. Whew. So the other storyline was Daniel Suarez. It's not funny. It's so sad, actually. So in front of Daniel was Bubba, and in front of Bubba was Riley. Bubba and Riley maybe slowed down quite significantly directly in front of Daniel, and Daniel was like, let me be smart here and let me slow down. And then everybody behind him was like, we're not doing that at all, and they ran him into the wall with peace and love. But he did bounce off the wall and crash out like a good amount of cars, and he was really sad about it, and he took way too much responsibility. His post-race interview, he was like, I just wasn't that good today. I wasn't a good driver today. I'm not good at NASCAR. And even the commentators were like, wow, that was a lot of that he's taken on personally. But we talked about Daniel took out all the cars that we don't care for. So it was actually, I think, like a needed sacrifice, maybe?
A service,
and Daniel's
for sure.
a hero.
Yeah.
So
he was just collateral. Wow. Maybe he was the winner today.
That's really powerful stuff. And I really hope that Justin Marks, or whatever the owner of Trackhouse's name is, I hope he considers that when he's thinking about firing Daniel. Is that like he didn't take out a single Trackhouse car. And Shane was right next to him.
I know. He did a really good job.
Controlled crash.
Wow. That's a new strategy.
Yeah, I think it was on purpose. And he's actually a hero. So everybody say thank you, Daniel. But yeah, I hope that he's okay. He like really had like quite a tragic monologue, and I think he took it really hard. What do you think the vibe is going to be of the vlog?
Dude, I think it's going to be so sad. I haven't watched the vlog. I should have watched the vlog from, yesterday? They post so frequently.
They're on top of that shit. They're doing like 3 a weekend.
which is, I mean, bless her heart. His wife is editing and filming all of those. Bless her heart. I can't wait to see they always do like a little debrief at the end where they're in the car and she's like filming or she has it set up and I can't hear anything he's saying. But I can see from his face, he's not happy with how the race went.
No.
He's famously never been happy with how the race went. I'm sure that's the same vibe we're gonna get.
So tragic. Yeah, if you guys haven't tuned into Daniel Suarez's vlog, it's the hottest new thing on the internet. Laps Down is there. We're clocked in for every episode. Last episode, my favorite part personally was they were talking about like what they had to do before Daytona, and his wife was like, I think the vlog is like labeled as a Daniel Suarez vlog, but it's really like just his wife and what her day looks like, and then like featuring Daniel Suarez, which I love. She's like, oh, I can't go do that. I have to film my like get ready with me. And he's like, that is such a smart name for that segment. Like, I love how you came up with that. Like, that is so smart. And she was like, no, it's like a thing on the internet. Like, I didn't come up with get ready with me. But it was so sweet that he genuinely was like ready to give his like wife, like, he literally was like, this woman's like a social media wizard. Like, she thinks of everything. And yeah, he brings his cat and his dog with him to the races, and they live in like a little trailer, and he takes his dog out to go pit. He makes his PR manager, it appears, take his little chihuahua outside to go pee. It's just a lot to unpack. You have to tune into the vlog, guys.
It's really good. It's really endearing to watch.
Yeah.
If you aren't already a Daniel Suarez fan, which I mean, I can't even fathom. But you will be after you watch 6 or 7 of these vlogs in a row, for sure.
So then, this is just a me thing. I had no idea. So Josh Berry had like a pretty good race up until I think he was like the crash at the very end. I think he was isn't he 21? He spun out at the end.
That's a great question.
What the caution. I think that's what the caution was.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. He had a really good weekend, and they were talking about how all of the Fords qualified really well and were up at the front. And I guess they were talking more about it. I had no idea that his role as like a Woods Brothers car is like almost like an honorary Penske car. I had no idea that they had like a partnership where the car is built and worked on in the Penske facilities. So I'm assuming if Penske drivers have like some secret sauce, they're at least in the building to maybe get a little drop of
Smell it.
Yeah, get a little of the essence of it. And so the race started with like him, all the Penske cars, and then like I think Julian's also Ford. Like all the Fords started in the front, and then it was like the Chevys, and then they were like, and the Toyotas suck ass, and they're in the back. And in the end, it didn't end up mattering. I think it like switched up pretty significantly. I mean, a Toyota won the race, but I did think that was interesting. I was like, what is Penske up to? Are they cheating in this series too? Are they cheating in this series too? Like, I was like, this is a little too suspect that they all did delightful on qualifying day to the point where it's like literally segregated all of the like Ford Penske relationship cars up to the front. It's a little suspect. So we're watching you, Roger Penske. Never let your guard down. We're gonna catch you.
Always watching.
But yeah, that was interesting. The race ended with Christopher Bell winning, and it was a little bit of a contentious ending once again with the caution situation. What was your take on the caution situation?
I was kind of I'm just expecting it at this point. Yeah. To end in a caution, but I was so sad because my son Carson Hocevar, my favorite race car driver. That sounds sarcastic. I really do like that guy. Means it. I really do. Was doing really, really well at that time. Could have had more time.
Did he cross the line first? Did we ever get clarity on that, or did Christopher Bell? I guess they kind of didn't even talk about it, because if you're new to NASCAR, what happens is if they throw the caution, then it's whoever was in first at the time of the caution going up, like the light turning on. Even if somebody ends up passing them in the end up to the
Right.
start finish line. And so there was a 3-car finish once again, which is crazy, between Kyle Larson, Carson Hocevar, and Christopher Bell. But because the caution, because the caution light went on when Christopher Bell was in first, he wins it because there was a crash farther down the pack. And of course people are mad because it's like, well, we just let him race. And then some people are like, well, I don't care if you throw the caution, just do it every time. And it's like a whole thing. And it's going to be a whole thing forever, I guess.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't, I guess I don't really know where they threw the caution, like where the crash happened. But I was like, they don't have that much further to the line. Just let them race to the line, please.
I know.
Please just let them race to the line.
But then the one time they do that and then somebody actually gets hurt, then it's like they're going to be the bad guy.
But they didn't know that, like, the caution had been thrown yet. They were still racing to the line. So everyone was still, like, full out. So it's not like it actually
does anything for not causing harm.
Like, if they were, I guess, once again, I don't really know. So maybe I'm just talking on I'm just
No, I think
saying
you're right.
things.
I think Carson said that he thought they were still racing to the end.
Yeah, he did say that. He said, I was going to the finish line. And, bud, you did a good job.
He might have even won if the finish line was I guess we didn't even talk about it on the broadcast because they were like too busy with like who actually won the race, whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted to like hear who hypothetically would have won because it might have been Carson and that could have been fun.
Yeah, me too.
What did you think about Carson's racing today? He got he had a line of people that were like, hi, I'm here to yell at Carson. They were like, get in line. Like, it was like Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney. A lot of people, I'm sure Kyle Larson, if he weren't too busy answering for his own crimes, would have went to go talk to Carson about his. What did you think? I mean, we're both kind of Carson Hocevar apologists, so take that bias with a grain of salt for everybody listening. But what was your take, MJ?
I liked it. I like that aggressive racing. It was also successful is the thing. Like, he did exactly what he needed to. Very bold of Ross Chastain to be like, hey, you were pushing me around out there. It's like, Ross, hey, can we sit down and watch some of your tapes?
I think that's what we do here.
He was just racing hard.
The Ryan Blaney one, he did kind of hit Ryan Blaney's bumper a little weird. And then
I
Ryan
think that
Blaney's
was just a misread.
Words, he's a moron. That's what Ryan Blaney said.
Ryan Blaney said, that guy's a moron. He just doesn't understand.
He said he's a weapon.
But he's a moron. A weapon could be positive.
Does he know that weapon can be positive? Maybe he means it as like he's a danger to society.
Yeah, I think it's like that man's an active bomb.
But
that guy's a weapon.
You and I took it as like, see, guys, the greats of the sport are starting to wake up to the greatness of Carson Hocevar.
That kid is a weapon. And then Carson got on and Carson, who's like a 20-something-year-old, just like dumbass who's on the internet all the time, he was like, yeah, well, I tried to zig and he zagged and I don't know. I was like,
you're not going to Cletus your way out of this. You're not going to Cletus your way out of this. You're done. But I think it's like he is such a sweetheart about it in my mind. Because at the end, he goes like, they come up to him and he's more focused on the war crimes he just committed against Kyle Larson. He's kind of not faced the music with the Ross Chastain and the Ryan Blaney war crimes yet. And so his on-field interview right after the race, he goes, I just want to apologize to Kyle. I want to apologize to Hendrick Motorsports. I sucked real bad last week, and I saw an opportunity for me to not suck real bad this week and maybe win my first race. So I was going to have to fucking wreck your shit. I'm so sorry. But I'm sorry to your organizations, which is just so funny. And then as soon as he hands the microphone back, he has his line of people there to yell at him.
Yeah. I liked it. I like the way he races.
Like, he doesn't go out there and be like, I did nothing wrong. He goes out there and goes, what do you want from me? Because I want to win the race. So what do you guys want from me? Whereas, like, Ricky Stenhouse, whatever the fuck his name is, I think he's out there actually just being a dumbass. Like, I'm like, you're not even going to win the race. You're just actually being stupid for no good odd reason. And the fact that you had this beautiful yellow Martin's Rolls car and you're going to act like a dumbass is just making me more upset about it. Don't bring
It's an
potato rolls
injustice.
into this. You're a dumbass. This is week 2 in a row of you crashing out half the field being a dumbass. Don't make it 3, buddy. But Carson, he could do no wrong. No crimes committed.
Yeah, I think I like that aggressive racing. That's what Joey Logano does. He does aggressive racing. And it's fine when Joey Logano does it, but oh, God forbid, Carson Hocevar.
I think half the NASCAR fans hate Joey Logano as well, MJ.
That's a really good point. That's a good point. I didn't really
Right.
know that.
Is he like the new generation? Like we're seeing them like respawn?
Oh.
Like tall, lanky, nerdy looking kid with love, Carson, with love, who's like very young and aggressive and pisses like the older generation of drivers off.
Well, yeah, he probably grew up watching Joey Logano.
Yeah, Joey's looking at him and he's like, it's like when Bella sees herself in the mirror in Twilight and it's the old version of her. That's what's happening.
You're 100% right. That is what's happening.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see who's the reincarnation of Denny. I'm going to love them. They're going to be so fun. I can't wait. Okay. Gosh. Anywho, so yeah, Christopher Bell won. That's exciting. He's in the playoffs. That's a wrap on that. Woo, woo, woo.
Well, yeah, unless there's 30-something winners, then. Yeah, but that's like we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
That's a problem. We'll deal with it another time. He's so funny. He wins. He has this like amazing moment. There's like fireworks behind him. And his quote that he went with when they like do the little interview is, "I love speedway racing." And then he does like a little smile.
Which is so funny because earlier today he was talking about how he's like, we need to change the speedway packages. We can't keep doing this. Something's got to change.
Then he wins and he's like,
I love it. I love it here.
It's so fun.
I've always loved this, famously.
But I think that you and I have talked in like Atlanta. Hella fun race. If our faves like continue to win, do you think it'll ever be up there with the Rovals?
No.
Well, I mean, the best race in the world is happening next week.
Coda.
Shortened version.
SVG, who's a road demon and like a weapon. I don't know. I'm trying to be hip.
Can we? Hey, we'll workshop a name. We'll workshop it.
No, I'm so sorry.
We'll work on it. Yeah.
We're also gonna have Connor Zilic.
I could cry.
I'm so excited,
we're gonna have 2 Connor Zilic races next week.
Wow. Everyone got to stay away from him because he keeps getting absolutely demolished in these races for no reason.
Dude, his life is getting fucking wrecked in Xfinity. These Xfinity doofuses just keep ruining my guy. And, like, he's really genuinely trying to win the race. And people are like, yeah, I think I'm going to wreck out half the field. Sorry. You're in this now, Connor. You're a part of this. His door foam.
Yeah.
We gotta call it. His door was, like, fucked up royally in the Xfinity race. And then they tried to duct tape it. And it seemed like the duct tape kind of didn't work as well as they thought it would. And then more foam just started like exiting his door and onto the track, and then started fucking with the other cars. Like the curse of Connor was like spreading. And they're like, the front of these cars have foam in it. Where did this come from? And it cuts to Connor's car
with just like an open side panel. It's like, oh, it came from Connor.
But maybe all of this luck has been like just saving up for his Cup debut. You know what? We're not going to talk any further about it. I don't really feel like cursing it. Mum's the word. Do you think we're talking about going live for IndyCar next week, but can we also go live for Coda? Like not the race, but something Coda related?
Sure.
On Saturday? The Xfinity race.
We can go live all day on Saturday.
We can go live for the IndyCar qualifying and then the Xfinity race.
Yeah, I'm down.
Connor's doing the double.
Connor's doing the double.
By the double, I mean the Xfinity race Coda where he's going to win, and then the Cup race Coda where he's also going to win.
Wow.
He's doing the double. Kyle Larson, watch out. But yeah, for our F1 fans, you might be like, Coda? I haven't heard that name in years. I know what Coda is. And it's you. Yeah, it's the same coda. It's the same thing that F1 does, just not actually. They're changing the track a little bit.
It's just a little different.
But it's the same place. And I think comfort is good for F1 fans. They like when they can recognize something. So maybe we'll get them to watch NASCAR. That would be fun.
NASCAR on a road course. You're always I don't want to watch them just turn left. It's like, well, they've got to turn left, they got to turn right, they got a little bit of an incline at the front.
There's a loop where they go upside down, I heard. Okay.
There's ramps.
We've lost the plot. Let's go to IndyCar. I don't have to sing every intro. I do for some reason. I don't know. Please don't unsubscribe. I won't do it next time. I'm sorry. So we have some IndyCar news, and then we have our IndyCar beginner guide. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about the new team principal of Arrow McLaren?
Yeah, Tony Kanaan is the new team principal of Arrow McLaren.
Can we do his name like Petit Le Mans?
Tony Kanaan. Yeah.
Do you think he would like that? I don't think he would like it.
I don't think he would like that. Okay. But
I don't want to upset him.
No. He's been a part of the organization for a while, so I think a lot of us kind of saw it coming.
Yeah. I don't really know that much about his vibe in relation to, I'm curious, what is his vibe with Zach Brown? Because Zach Brown goes to a lot of the IndyCar races. I've always been curious, does Zach Brown undermine the position at all of team principal if he's there every fucking weekend breathing down their neck?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably.
Well, but to be fair, a lot of the weekends he's in the Andretti garage, so.
Right.
So maybe that's nice for Tony. I don't know.
He's a little break from this motherfucker. He won one episode of Wheel of Fortune, and he's up.
Now he's all of our problems.
So that was, I think, good news. Sure, we'll go with that. It's good for now. Bad news. I'm going to let you talk about the Iowa situation. It seems close to home for you.
It is close to home. I got the email during work, and I was like, shit. This is bad vibes. Yeah, I got an email that HyVee is dropping their sponsorship with the Iowa Speedway race. Be sad
guys.
for me.
Guys, I'm thinking about a joke that I'm cutting out because MJ said I had to, but it was really funny. It was really funny. You guys are going to be so bummed, but yeah, maybe if we ever get a Patreon, we'll release the cut jokes.
Yeah. But, yeah, so they're dropping the sponsorship for the Iowa Speedway race, which is really unfortunate, and then they're also not going to work with RLL. So basically...
Is it the crimes? It might have been the crimes.
Iowa didn't commit any crimes. What did I do?
Not Iowa, RLL.
Oh, it could be the crimes.
The federal crime that the FBI went to their facility for?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
No.
That might have been it.
Yeah, the Midwestern grocer is actually, we don't deal with the feds.
We don't usually associate with federal crime committers.
Yeah, of course.
I heard that HyVees are really nice.
They are. They're lovely. They've got little food courts. They've got a bunch of beverages. They've got
sushi?
Self-checkout.
They have grocery store sushi?
Not in Iowa.
Oh, okay. That's probably for the best. Yeah. You also said that you think that means Iowa Speedway is probably not going to be on the schedule further than this year.
No. So, okay, Iowa Speedway is kind of weird. I didn't even realize it was an IndyCar race until last year. They've been coming here for a little bit, but I didn't realize it was an IndyCar race until last year. Because it's kind of known as a little music festival in Iowa.
Didn't Post Malone go?
Post Malone, we had Luke Combs, we had Kelsey Ballerini, we had Eric Church. It's it was stacked. Absolutely stacked. So
is Eric Church the one that sings Springsteen?
Yes.
I love that song.
Yeah, he sang it. There were drones going off behind him. It was really cool. It was pretty cool.
I wish I was there. Anyways, sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
But most of the money that they get during the Iowa Speedway weekend is from people who don't go to the race at all, probably don't even know that there's a race happening, and will just go to the concerts. They'll just drink in the parking lots and go to the concerts. And now that they don't have the concerts anymore, I fear we are going to lose maybe 100% of the people going.
No concert happening this year?
No. They said that they wanted to focus on the racing, and I said that's so true. That's so real of you.
That's an interesting way of phrasing the concert people don't want to organize a concert.
We are broke. We have no more money now that HyVee has dropped out. So I guess that's that. I guess if
They
you
want
want to
to
go,
focus on the racing. That's bad, right? The racing's bad.
the racing is horrible. It's horrible. It's 106 degrees. I wouldn't go.
And you live in Iowa, so
And
that's not
this
a
is
good.
all I have.
Yeah, that's not a good. Yeah, this is all probably Iowa has. Probably.
That's it. Yeah, we have HyVee. We have a singular HyVee and an oval, and that's it. So
Tough loss for Iowa. Jeez, oh, please.
it'll be interesting
the
to see.
NASCAR race, the corn race, the race
The
sponsored by
ethanol
corn.
750. I don't know how many it is. Yeah, at least we still got that.
The ethanol 1000. They just do a lot of laps.
It's like it's a short oval too. They're like, how many times can we go around?
I think probably 1,000. Have we tried? I mean, we're using ethanol, so it works. That's like the
So
brand
true.
tie-in. Anywho, so we talked a little bit about the IndyCar Fox cartoon thing earlier, but just to raise some alarms for people new to IndyCar, there will be weird cartoons. We know they're weird.
I like
MJ likes them. Just let her have them. And you said that you think that they'll be better than NASCAR because a lot of the IndyCar drivers actually have six packs, so it's more believable.
I didn't say that. Did I say that?
I'm pretty sure I have it in my text messages. Don't fucking make me pull up receipts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. No, I agree.
Do you need me to edit that joke out too?
I was like, did I write that down? Yeah. It probably makes more sense that like Marcus Armstrong has like pecs and biceps versus like Brad Keselowski.
Stand on business, MJ. You said the truth, and you're not gonna fucking back down from it.
Yeah, I think it'll be
Brad
fun. I'm
Keselowski
excited.
does not have abs. Joseph Newgarden probably does.
Not
He
yet.
definitely does. We saw him in the commercial. Don't lie to us, MJ. Okay. What are we shook about?
I don't know. You just called me out by name.
I didn't pull out the full government.
It's so late. I'm losing it. Okay, what's next?
What's next?
Keep going.
Update on Connor Daly. I didn't listen to Speed Street this week. I don't even know if it came out. He probably got told he couldn't put the episode out. He did?
Yeah, he put it out.
Fuck. This whole podcast is falling apart. Because I didn't even listen to Speed Street this week. Anyways, he will be at St. Pete. We'll be racing through May. You put a question mark. But we have, hey, tinfoil time. You might not have heard Logan Sargent retiring from racing. I don't know. This would be really sad if that's what's actually happening. They made it sound like he's like taking like a mental health break. He fully had a seat in, what is it called? Elms? ELMS? European Le Mans Series? Is that what it stands for? Oh, fuck. I'm so good at motorsports. But he fully had a seat, was on the team with Jamie Chadwick, and I don't know, people were really excited. And then they like made a weird post of him like looking sad, normal Logan Sargent post. And then they were like, he's like gonna step away, and we were like, why? Like,
yeah. They said to pursue other interests. I'm like, is he going to business school? Like, what does that mean?
Logan Sargent to MBA pipeline. Anyways, we think tinfoil hat time. Hunkus Hollinger Racing is like, Connor, the money is not looking good. What if we bring in somebody that can bring in sponsors? Logan Sargent. And then you do the ovals for somebody who's never done an oval before, Logan Sargent. And then, I love you, Connor. Not much use on a road course. What if we let this other person who might be good at like road courses and stuff, Logan Sargent, do those? It'd be hell of a lot of fun if we were right.
I would love if we were right. Truth be told.
Like, wouldn't that be so much fun? We would finally get all the F1 girlies to watch IndyCar. That would be like, that would be a monstrous day for Laps Down. I hate to be selfish about this, Logan, but you gotta do it.
Please, Logan.
Please. I don't know. He's got money. He definitely could bring sponsors.
Oh, yeah. I think he could bring non-crypto sponsors, for sure.
Maybe some 0% Michelob Ultra. I think that was his big sponsor for Williams, because they are no longer with Williams. And neither is he. So, stop. You can't act startled every time I say that, MJ.
It hurts every time.
I mean, if this isn't the case, then we need to do a mental health check on Logan.
Yeah.
Because, like, there was no pressure for him to do well in that Elm seat. Nobody watches Elms.
No. And the weirdest thing was, like, he seemed super excited for it. He was talking about, like, my goal is to win Le Mans. He was doing the testing. Yeah, big Le Mans, not petite Le Mans. I don't know. He hasn't said anything. His app also hasn't said anything. I still have it, because every once in a while it's like, this is what Logan's doing. And I'm like, yeah.
Proof of life.
Get there, Logan. I haven't heard anything from the app. And the app hasn't, like, gone, like, defunct. Like, they haven't, like, deleted it off my phone. So I feel like maybe there's still potential he gets out there. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I'm scared. I'm really scared for Logan. I need this to be what's happening. But it would make sense. So that's why we put our tinfoil hat on. And then, do you want to talk about the St. Pete 20th anniversary?
Oh, yes. So this weekend next weekend, they're going to honor the Weldon family, because it is 20 years since Dan Weldon won at St. Pete. Dan Weldon, who did tragically pass away during a race accident. But Sebastian Weldon, who's his son, who I think is like 16, is going to be driving the pace car. He's also in, if I'm not mistaken, he's in one of the, like, Andretti pipelines somewhere.
Correct.
I don't know for what series.
Both of his sons, I believe, are Andretti development drivers. And it was, like, kind of a thing that Dan was, like, the first Andretti driver, I believe. And so it was kind of like after he passed, the Andretti, like, organization had a lot of ties to his wife and their 2 kids. And so they both, like, are in karting under the Andretti development program. If you want to know more about this, by the way, there's a really great movie called Lionheart. Don't watch it on a plane. I watched it on a plane. A lot of my friends have watched it on a plane. It's really sad. It's really, really sad, as you can imagine. And you will cry publicly on a plane, and it'll be really embarrassing for everybody. But it's cool that his son is going to be driving the pace car. And Susie, the mom, will be waving the green flag. So that's really sweet. It's going to be really tough. I'm going to have to probably have some tissues nearby. Did you know
I'm sure
his wife was, like, his PR manager? Damn. But his kids are, like, really, I think, talented, and I think that they do want to, like, get into IndyCar or F1, and Andretti, I think, must see that as a possibility, and they're putting, I think, a good amount of resources into their son. So that'll be interesting. 20 years since St. Pete win. That's, like, an interesting anniversary that I wouldn't have known had they not done this. So I think that's also really good on IndyCar.
You know what's funny is I was like, 20 years ago, back in the 80s. And I was like, no, it's 2005.
Yeah, that's not how 20 years works, unfortunately. But yeah, highly recommend watching Lionheart. It's a really good movie. I think it's on HBO Max. If I'm wrong on that, which is a very real possibility, I'm very sorry. But it's definitely on some sort of streaming. And so that kind of ties us into people that are maybe newer IndyCar fans. And we have had a lot of people saying, I want to get into IndyCar. Just wish that there was some way I could learn all the basics. And until that happens, I refuse to watch it. And so now we're making it so there's no excuse. You have to watch IndyCar. And that's because we're going to answer all your questions. Do you have a certain order you want to do this in, MJ? Do you want to drive the boat?
Yeah, I'll drive the boat. And then you can just, if there's anything I'm not specific enough about, you just let me know.
I'll add color commentary.
Yes, please. So I think the main question I always get, it's usually F1 fans wanting to get into IndyCar. They're always like, okay, but like what's the difference between F1 and IndyCar? Which is a great question. So I think the main difference between F1 and IndyCar is like F1 has a constructors championship because they are constructors. They are editing the car weekend to weekend. That's not happening in F1. F1 teams all have the same chassis, wherein like
You're meaning IndyCar.
IndyCar, they all have the same chassis. This is the color
commentary I'm going to add, by the way.
Yes. And I'm going to need it, I fear. Whereas, like, in F1, they can do modifications. So you're going to see a lot of the same cars from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. It's more of a driver-based series. There is no constructors championship.
They're intended to be very similar cars to equalize the playing field and make it more about driver skill rather than engineering.
Yeah. And I mean, there's still going to be teams that are better than others because they have like better resources and stuff, but it's never going to be like the car is like has the newest upgrades. They have 2 engines. They've got Honda and Chevy. If that's something you subscribe to, like caring about the engines, I don't really ever care about them until they mention them.
Wasn't there like a conspiracy theory that the Honda engines were bad last year?
The quite a few Honda engines like did just kind of like self-implode at the Indy 500.
The way you said that as if it was non-consequential.
Yeah, sure.
It was
like, sure, if you want to bring that up.
Blew up. Like, I'm sorry, Jesus.
Like,
I
sure,
didn't think
some of them went.
Put that in there.
So they went kaput. But I believe Honda is supplying all the hybrid engines for this year, but that's going to be something we're all going to have to learn together because I don't freaking know. Don't talk to me about the hybrids.
This is one of those situations where potentially IndyCar doesn't fully know what's going on, kind of like NASCAR. It's like we will be the last to know, and it will already be implemented by the time we talk about it.
Correct. Another big difference is IndyCar races on ovals. So they are going to do your street and road courses, but there are also going to be ovals. And don't be intimidated yet if you're an F1 fan getting into ovals, because they put all the ovals together kind of near the end. So we don't even have to think about it for a couple months. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
The first couple of races are all like road courses that you would be familiar with the idea. The pit strategy will probably be something that you kind of understand what's going on. When it comes time to oval, maybe this time I'll learn oval strategies. Probably not. Maybe. We'll
cross that bridge when we get there. Another big difference that I think people feel really intimidated by is that each team doesn't have the same number of drivers. It's not as uniform like in F1, and also the cars don't have to look the same. And I apologize, I don't know how you're going to learn the cars. You either learn them or you don't.
They're going to look different every weekend, and you're just going to have to keep up.
You're just going to... I'll send out the spotter's guide if I have to. But each team can have...
The numbers stay the same. The numbers to the cars. Driver.
No, to the car.
To car.
Yeah.
Drivers can be moved around.
Well, girl,
no worries. No worries. Okay, keep going.
But each team can have as many as 6 cars. We don't have any teams with 6 cars. I think the most is 3. And I don't know. At the Indy 500, that's where you're going to see all the cars. They can have up to 33 cars on the grid. So that's where it's going to get a little confusing. But yeah, you're not going to see the same like identical liveries between teams.
Race to race, whatever.
Yeah. And then also IndyCar has higher top speeds. And I just kind of added this one because I was like, if you don't want to watch IndyCar, maybe you'll just get jealous. Maybe you'll just be like,
as the commercials so kindly say, they go, IndyCar, fastest racing on earth. And then some people go, meow, 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 meow. And they don't like that stat. But facts don't lie. It's the fastest racing on earth.
It is a fact. But so those are kind of the differences between F1, IndyCar. For the most part, like the driving is different, isn't it?
Can I name another difference?
Yeah.
The cars can pass each other.
Oh, yeah, they're in a race.
That's a huge game changer. that the road courses, you might think, oh, road courses, like there's like street courses in F1, no chance. We're just doing a little parade most of the time. In IndyCar, this is so fucking crazy. The cars are a reasonable size. They're not actually large tanks. They're actually just cars, open wheel cars, and they can pass each other. So it means better racing and all around more fun. Does that? Are you convinced?
Really fun. It is really fun. Yeah, they made these race cars to race. I don't know. It's fun. It's
just
silly.
a little detail.
It's
with
fun,
peace and
but
love.
Okay, and then I just wanted to quickly talk about the charter system, because the charter system is not something they have in F1. If you're in NASCAR, you're familiar, maybe triggered by the word charter system, and for that I apologize. But I just want to go over the basics. I feel like it's not super necessary to know if you're just getting into it. But so there are 25 charters, full-time. Those are going to be the full-time cars on the grid. However, there are 27 full-time. Andrew's just snacking.
I'm really hungry. It's like 10:30 at night, guys. Give me some grace.
Pop off, queen. But there are 25 charters. However, there are going to be 27 full-time entrants. Entrants is just the cars. And so 2 cars are not chartered. Those are Prema's cars this year. So those are the Italians.
Now, in the future, if there's more unchartered cars, it would mean that unchartered cars would have to qualify for races. But because we don't have that problem this year, Prema is pretending to have a charter because they don't have to like worry about getting knocked out, but they still don't have a charter.
Yeah, so those 25 charters guarantee you to be able to race every weekend. However, we are allowed 27 cars. That is the maximum amount of cars because some of like the places that they race at, like you can't have more than 27 cars. So that's just where they cap it. So anybody outside of those 25 charters are going to have to qualify for their spot. Same like kind of with what we saw in the Daytona 500. It's kind of similar. Just a little callback. If you subscribe.
Do you think Ilya will come make an appearance?
Yeah, he's racing in the not at St. Pete, but he'll be at the not the fucking Daytona, the Indy 500.
Really?
Yeah, he's already listed. Yeah, no, he's coming back. I hope he gets a Wendy's sponsorship.
Yeah, I was just about to say, please let it be a Wendy's car. Please let it be a
Wendy's.
That would be so fun.
But yeah, so 27 cars can race. Thankfully, Prema probably won't have to worry about qualifying for those last 2 positions. Anyone who doesn't qualify for those last 2 positions are going to get sent home. And then also these 25 charters do allow you to qualify for the leader circle, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So Prema will not qualify for the leader circle championship. Yes. Yes, Andrea? Do you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. I had to think about what my question was. You called on me sooner than I thought you would. Does this mean that they don't have a guaranteed spot for the Indy 500, though? They still have to be very scared about the not qualifying for the Indy 500. Because as much as the teams would have liked it to be a guarantee for the Indy 500, it takes away from the fun of the Indy 500. And there's a chance you could be a chartered driver and still not make the cut. Yeah. Because unchartered people are better than you. Particular weekend.
Charters don't apply for the Indy 500. They did that back in the olden days during the kart IRL days, and it's kind of triggering to the don't bring it up.
Whole moment. So let's just pretend as if the charters don't mean shit when it comes to Indy 500 weekend, because they don't. Although
they don't.
They might in the future, because for a lot of these teams, their sponsors, all they really give a shit is like, can I at least get my car out there for the Indy 500? If I invest a bunch of money into your team, are you guaranteeing me that? And the reality is they can't.
No.
They can't.
Nope.
That's fun.
So that's your little basics on the charter system. I think we talked about, like, we went into depth on the charter system in another episode.
Yeah, I can link it. I can link it in the show notes if you want more.
Okay, cool. And then I just wanted to I'm going to briefly go over points because it's like I'm not going to list out 27 different points
you don't want to just read numbers?
No. That's not going to be my strong suit. But
I'll cut it this out, but F157.
F157. Hey, guys, sometimes the numbers just don't make sense in my brain. I did call it the F157. But so first place gets 50 points, second gets 40, third gets 35. These are all based on like race finish. And something important to note is if you make it to the race, you're getting points, even if you DNF. All right. So like 25th and beyond they all get 5 points. So that's why you'll see a car out there going like 26 laps down, like they made Kyle Kirkwood do last year, is because you can still guarantee points.
They're pushing through.
Wholeheartedly so. But something that's different than IndyCar, and I'm not sure on NASCAR, but you do get 1 point for getting pole position. You get 1 point for leading at least 1 lap. So multiple drivers can get this point. And then you also get 2 points if you are the most laps, like if you lead the most laps. So that's just, once we get down to the wire, that becomes very important, those little points.
Yeah, and I'm sure when it starts coming down to the wire, you could see some strategy calls being made that will preference maybe going on an alternate strategy to have laps led and stuff like that.
Absolutely. There is no fastest lap point, so they don't do any of that Xfinity fastest lap bullshit, unfortunately. I think it's really silly and funny.
They're not as fast as Xfinity Internet?
No.
You know what I've noticed watching the Xfinity race, though? Like, they don't have to say it as much as they do, I feel. I feel like the drivers take a little joy in it. Like, they'll be literally DNFing, and they'll be like, really bummed out. Our car was definitely as fast as Xfinity Internet. I'm like, you're in the, like, wellness tent. Like, you don't have to do this.
No. It's like, your car was going 25 miles per hour. It was not as fast as Xfinity Internet. Don't say that.
Hey, you crashed out half the field. It's okay. I don't think Xfinity wants to be associated with that.
No. Xfinity's like, cut that. Okay, so the leader circle that I mentioned earlier, it's the little, they don't have a constructors championship. They have this little thing called the leader circle, and only chartered cars qualify for it. So only 25 cars are going to qualify for it. Only 25 cars are going to qualify for it. Prema will not.
How many cars are going to qualify for it?
Only 25.
I'm not sure I got it. Can you say it again?
Every time you, like, sneak something into your mouth, I lose my mind. Okay.
Hey, can we clock in, please? This is a serious podcast.
I'm so sorry. Anyone who wants to learn about IndyCar, I apologize. But, yeah, only 25 cars are going to qualify for it. But what it is the top 22 entrants. So it is the top 22 cars, not drivers, cars. Because you'll see.
I thought it was 25.
No, the leader circle is the top 22 of those 25. Dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about my co-host. She's snacking. She's giggling. It's 10 o'clock at night.
Am I getting disciplinary action right now?
Yes. I'll have the FIA get in contact with you.
Fuck.
So it is the top 22 entrants in points. They're going to win a bag, basically. I struggle so hard with finding how much money. They did come out and say, no, it's more money than last year, but I'm not really sure. But
you get $25 each.
It's probably something like that. Coming straight from Penske. But yeah, the entrant is the car, which is important because they're going to use that term throughout the season. So you'll notice that some teams they're going to switch drivers, but those entrant points are still going to go to the car. The driver's points completely separate. But yeah, so that's the leader circle. And then shall we talk about this upcoming weekend a little bit?
I think that this is what the F1 people need to get into this. You think that your series has drama? Nothing on this. Give them the TMJ.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take you back in time about 1 year ago.
Picture it's the beginning of the Fox IndyCar commercial, and it's Joseph Newgarden driving and going. And
For reference,
this is Joseph Newgarden. He cheated. Anyways,
he did cheat. So, St. Pete, 2024, the Penske cheating scandal. Joseph Newgarden won the race. All right, Joseph Newgarden won. I think Scotty Mack got third, and then it was like 6 weeks later. They were like, "Hey guys, actually, I think Pato won that race," and we were like,
just a little note.
As it turns out, Penske had installed some new push-to-pass technology while they were testing the hybrid over the off-season, just never took it out when it came to, like, actual racing season. And so Joseph was the one who was convicted. He
went
used
to
it
jail.
3 times.
Federal prison.
He went to jail. Yep. Was disqualified.
Same thing. Federal prison disqualified from St. Pete.
Same. he used the illegal push to pass, I think 3 times, which you cannot use. He was like using it on starts and restarts. And then Scotty Mack also, he had used it once because they all like admitted to their crimes. He used it once, didn't gain any advantage, but he was still like stripped of his of his 3rd place. And then Will was like, I didn't even know that was an option. I didn't use it at all, and he was still also fined like $25,000.
It's like, wait, what fucking button were we supposed to press to cheat?
You guys are
nobody fucking
using
told me.
push to pass, but this was the first disqualification in 29 years, and it was to Roger Penske's team. Roger Penske, who maybe we should have addressed, owns the series.
Yeah, the way that, like, I've had to explain it several times to my husband, who cannot get past this. He owns a team, but then also is, like, the commissioner of the league, in like, football terms. He owns IndyCar, but then owns an IndyCar team. And then his team cheated. And then they tried to be like, well, they were going to change the rule eventually. We just did it before they changed the rule. Because we knew, because Roger Penske's our boss, that they were going to change it.
Well, it wasn't even, I don't know what the team was thinking, truth be told. Because they figured it out at Long Beach when all of the other cars had like a glitch or like a bug, like a technology issue with the push to pass. And they were like, isn't it strange that none of the Penskes had this issue? And then they were like, oh, we actually just never took out this technology. And Joseph, to be fair, I don't think he knew he was cheating. I think he was just like, it was available and I was using it, so I just assumed that they had changed the rules, which I feel like after having watched enough IndyCar, none of them know the rules, especially with the hybrids. The amount of times Colton Herta was like, yeah, no, I fired up the hybrid in the pits. I didn't know that wasn't a rule. So I totally believe that he didn't know. He's not the villain here. Roger Penske is the villain here.
No, he literally was like, I was just trying to win the race. And this made me win the race, so I did that. And they were like, no, Joseph, it was still wrong. And he was like, it doesn't feel wrong. I feel like I won.
No. And he like did this whole like sob thing. He's like, you can call me a liar, you can call me a fraud, but you can never call me a cheater. And I was like, I mean, you did cheat, but whether or not it was intentional, whatever. But so that's kind of the vibe we're walking into St. Pete with this year. It's just like a bunch of hootenanny. Bunch of shenanigans.
It also created a really interesting storyline for the rest of his season last year of like winning the Indy 500. Pretty soon after they decided to officially strip him of his St. Pete win, right? Like it was like kind of around that time that they were like, oops, he cheated. So that is kind of, I think, where like the Joseph villain-esque, like he has a villain-esque aura, and this St. Pete cheating scandal contributes to the villain-esque aura. And so it will be interesting to see the vibes when he comes back. I also feel like it's just like a fun little tidbit, little drama to get you hooked.
Yeah. It doesn't happen a lot, clearly, with 29 years without any disqualification.
Yeah.
But that just shows that, yeah, we can have fun too, guys.
We can have fun. And then, St. Pete, obviously season opener. There'll be a lot of interest in who's going to come doing strong, who's going to be like ass. There's lots of teams on lots of drivers on new teams. What is our qualifying going to look like for St. Pete?
That's a really good question. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
So it's pretty simple. They're going to be split up into 2 groups based on their practice times. Group 1's going to get 10 minutes of track time, and then the 6 fastest are going to move on. Those who don't move on, it's going to set the grid 13 and back and on the odd side. And then you're going to have group 2. They're going to get 10 minutes as well. The fastest 6 move on, and those who don't move on, it's going to set 14 and back on the even side, so just the other side. So those fast 12, I want to keep saying like the Firestone fast 6, but that's not it. We're not there yet. Those fast 12, not sponsored, are going to get 10 minutes of lap time, and then the fastest 6 will move on. Those who don't move on, it's going to be 7 through 13 on the grid. And then the Firestone Fast 6, sponsored, they're going to get 6 minutes of track time. and that's going to set 1 through 6. It's really basic. They always explain it every single broadcast. So you don't need to, like, if you're like, I don't know how qualifying works, but
You're going
they're
to
all
hear
out of
Will
track at once.
Buxton's delightful voice telling you all about it.
Oh my god, I totally forgot that this is his little debut. Cute.
Oh my god. Do you think Will
I'm
Buxton's
excited.
nervous?
Oh, he probably going in front of a bunch of Americans.
He's
Probably.
shitting his pants. He's gonna shit
Yeah.
his pants talking about the Firestone Fest 6. He's gonna be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And James is gonna have to like talk him down.
But I think we'll be fine. This is like, I think if you're an F1 fan, you'll get the vibes. It's not too far off. And then, where are we watching this? This is gonna be so easy this year.
It's if you live in America, it's going to be on Fox. It's going to be on Fox. One of the questions we got was like, where can I watch this without paying like $80, like a bunch of money? And I apologize. I genuinely, like, I haven't gotten deep enough into Fox, like watching things on Fox to know like any of like the
Let me give you
links.
guys the tea. Let me give you guys the tea, okay? What you can do if you're me is I use my parents' cable login to watch everything that's on FS1 or FS2. And then whenever I try to watch stuff on actual Fox, it says you have to be on your home Wi-Fi network, which is tough because that's in Michigan and I'm just hacking into my parents' cable. And so for that, I have found you do have to pay money for it. It's like called like, I keep wanting to call it Furbo. It's definitely not what it's called. It's like
Fubo.
Fubo. I just think it should be Furbo. And, hey, just a note, if you guys want to rechange the entire name of your app. And that is cheaper than buying full cable. And it's just like Fox affiliated channels, which includes like CW, all the FS1, 2, whatever's, Fox. And you get a good amount of other live sports with it. So maybe you could find a way for that to be worth the money. You get whatever NASCAR races are also on Fox. I don't know how much longer we're doing that, but
I think we've got like a few more races. It's like a third of the
so
season.
you guys like could find some use if you buy it. I don't know. It is expensive though. I feel bad just being like it's going to cost a little money until we figure out how to pirate it. I'm sorry, guys.
You can do. I've done like a dozen Fubo free trials to watch like the Rangers play. So that's also an option. Guys, I'm sorry. There's nothing I could do.
They might put things on YouTube after the race,
Yes.
like 24 hours after. So maybe you could like wait 24 hours, watch on YouTube, and then listen to the Laps Down episode. We don't want to spoil it for you, of course. Maybe you could do that.
That's always an option. But if you're international, IndyCar Live is free, and you can get it on the NTT IndyCar website. So maybe if you already pay for a VPN, you could do that. If you live in America and don't want to pay for Fox, I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, we're just trying the best we can, y'all.
But just to quickly go over like the schedule for this weekend, it's all going to be in Eastern time because everyone's in Eastern time. So on Friday, we're going to have the first practice. That's going to be on FS1 at 3 p.m. Saturday, we are going to have practice 2 and quali. Practice 2 is at 10 a.m. I really enjoy watching the practices for IndyCar. I don't know if you ever do, but I just truly the broadcast team and the drivers sometimes really get into some shenanigans. You see a lot of like the fights, the little like hissy fits and stuff, usually during practice. But practice 2 is going to be on at 10 a.m. Qualifications, which is probably what we'll go live for, is going to be on at 2:30 Eastern. And then on Sunday, you've got the warm-ups at 9 a.m. on FS2. You don't really need to watch those unless you're fiending for something to watch at 9 a.m.
Is warm-ups like the commentators, like when they just like riff for a while before the race? Yeah. Oh,
no.
You want some? Oh,
it's cars on track, like, and
what is that?
I guess cars on track. They're just gonna warm up. They're just gonna go around a little bit.
How is that different than a practice?
Because it's just a little one. I don't know. Do I look like Mr. Fox? I don't know.
You just did a whole segment about knowing a lot of shit about IndyCar. I ask you what? I press you on one thing. I press
This
you on
was not
what
the thing
is
I thought you would
warm-ups.
ever press on. They just warm up. During during ovals, they'll do like highline practice instead of a warm up. So I don't know, Andrea. I don't know. Sorry, I can't be everything you need. I don't know.
She just starts fucking bawling.
I don't know. And then the race after the warm-ups will be like a few hours later at noon on Fox.
IndyCar on Fox. Fastest racing on earth. That's how the commercial goes. Are you gonna act like I'm wrong?
No, that was good. I like that. You should be.
Sorry, I can't be enough for you. Like, I show up and I do this fucking podcast. And
Are we
it's like
breaking up?
I don't know. We never do a single episode about IndyCar while IndyCar racing is happening. We start the podcast after Nashville and quit the weekend before St. Pete's. That would be really funny. No, we're not going to break up. Sorry. Stuck with me. We're common law married. So hopefully you guys are going to tune in to your first IndyCar race if you've never watched before. Feel free to DM the Laps Down account if you have any questions during the practices or qualifying or anything. I mean, we are on social media a good amount of time, so we will probably see your question and we can try to answer it. Like MJ said, we might go live during the qualifying, and that would be just perfect. It would back right up into the Xfinity race. Like, we could just keep that shit going.
Yeah, if you want to spend 8 hours with us on Sunday, we'll be live on TikTok probably.
Not Sunday, Saturday. Stop telling the people wrong info.
Sorry, I can't be everything you need.
But usually our TikTok lives are a good amount of fun. People get really into it. And I don't know. We're just as good as Will Buxton and James Hinchcliffe, honestly. So you can just mute your TV and listen to us. And I think that's just about everything. Do you think that we covered everything in our 2-hour podcast? Do you think that it's enough?
I think it's more than enough.
Maybe more. Maybe we could have cut the 20 minutes we talked about William Byron and Sabrina Carpenter.
But yeah, so excited. St. Pete and Coda. This is going to be a huge weekend for Laps Down.
Magical.
I have chills. I have literal chills. Also, did we mention SVG and Connor are Red Bull drivers? And they're going to have their Red Bull paint scheme?
SVG and Connor are actually Red Bull drivers, so they're going to have the Red Bull.
If you squint, it's like you're watching Liam and Max.
Whoa, that's Max Verstappen. Nope, it's not.
Wait, if you guys are curious who Connor and SVG are, on the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls YouTube, they taught Yuki and Liam how to dirt race.
Oh, yeah. That's a really fun video.
It's a really fun video.
Recommend.
So maybe we'll link that or something in our stories or something. Or maybe not. I don't know. I shouldn't say
we'll
things
push
like
it
that
out to you.
Because you're the social media person. It's like, I shouldn't make promises I have no intention of keeping.
Maybe we'll recreate that in a TikTok reel and put TikTok reel.
Don't even
hey guys,
worry
we
about
gotta
it.
put
MJ,
a cap on this.
MJ's gonna take care of it, guys. Okay. I think that this was a 5-star episode, so you should probably go ahead and leave it 5s. And we'll get you on the flip side. Say bye, MJ.
Oh, goodbye.
Hey guys, just a little bonus segment. If you're wondering why all of our lighting is different and why everything has gone weirder, it's because it's been like probably an hour and a half since we stopped filming, and we just totally forgot to do our fan favorite for NASCAR, and we cannot allow that to happen. So, MJ, would you like to quickly give your fan favorite and why?
Yes. So my fan favorite, I decided during the race today, because he was just having a silly, goofy time out there. It's actually Michael McDowell, who started the race, had a steering issue, had to go fix it, was billion laps down, ended up getting the free pass 6 times, which is a record, broke the record, and then ended up P13. He Alex Pelode. And for that, Mr. Michael McDowell, you are my fan favorite of this week.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Who's yours?
Okay. Fuck, I didn't even think about it before I press record. Okay, we'll edit this part out.
Okay.
Can't go with Bubba Wallace 2 weeks in a row, even though his
you cannot.
Columbia jacket was really sick. And if 2311 wanted to send us some 2311 Columbia jackets, we'd happily take them.
Please.
We'd give him a good home. See, I have one, but I feel like he didn't quite totally earn it.
No, that's fine.
I think it's William Byron. I think it is William Byron for the Sabrina Carpenter thing. Because I kind of was like, I was so set on hating him, and I just thought that was funny. I was like, that's funny. That's fan favorite behavior. Like, Chase Elliott's not doing that.
No, I agree. I think that's a good That's a
and
good
he's
reason.
not gonna get that vote any other time from me. So I should give it to him now. He almost got
Yeah.
yours last week. Is William
He
Byron
almost
like
did.
trying to come for the fan favorite title?
Everyone keep your eyes
Keep
peeled.
an eye-
He's in the mix.
Keep an
For
eye
sure.
on this space. There might be something here. Anyways, all right. Enough of that. Goodbye.
Goodbye.